This is Sports Jam. I'm Doug Doyle. My guest today is two-time FIFA World Cup champion, two-time Olympic gold medalist, soccer Hall of Famer, Mia Hamm.
Here's Hamm, intercepts the poor back pass from a tight angle. Oh, Mia Hamm, her second of the day. 2 goals in the second half for the States. They're back on top by 2.
Absolutely no angle. First thing she looked for was maybe a player in the box. Here's Hamm. Faye coming out, committing. Inside of her left foot, she has inches to spare, and she sticks it in the back of the net. Very coolly, very calm. Beautiful finish by Hamm.
Great to have you on Sports Jam.
Hey, thanks for having me, Doug.
Now, I know you're in the primarily Hispanic community of Santa Ana today, one of the hardest impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, both on a health and economic level, but it was a special event there today. Lay's unveiling its first replay soccer field in the U.S. made from reused chip bag packaging. Now, you're also a UEFA Foundation for Children ambassador and a partner of this whole initiative. Why is this so important to you?
I think, first of all, this is the world's game. Soccer is the world's game. We have an opportunity to give back and create these fields in underserved communities all across the world, and giving young boys and girls in the community a safe place to go, to play, to connect, I think to gain confidence, learn more about themselves. And I know the impact the game has had on my life, hoping that it can kind of touch this community in the same way.
You've always been about giving back, even before you retired from soccer in 2004. Where did that philanthropic spirit come from for you?
From my parents. I think, as we speak, they're actually driving out here to do a walk my mom's done every single year for the past 20 or 15 years since, to give back. And, ever since I was younger, we were volunteering or people were staying at our house. I think all of us are in a position where we need help. And it's part of our humanity to kind of give back and lend a hand and help people out.
Now, when you see young kids, especially young girls, playing on a field that's made out of potato chip bags, what does that do to you? I mean, you started this whole amazing thing with people from the U.S. watching women's soccer and girls soccer. You're an icon. You're somebody that they look up to. What does this all mean to you?
Well, I'm incredibly grateful to partner with Lay's and the UEFA Foundation. I think it's important, like I said, I know what the game has done for me, and to empower these young girls in this community, maybe a community that's overlooked, and really get them out there being active and healthy, but also gaining confidence, taking the ball and dribbling through a couple players. And, that translates to confidence off the field, and they feel empowered. So, we're using the power of play to make a difference in these young people and obviously these young girls' lives.
And this is the first U.S. soccer field, but there have been others across the globe. So let's talk about that. The growth of soccer in the United States. It's been incredible. Well, how do you see it?
No, I think not just the amount of young people and even people my age that are playing in leagues all across the country. But I think visibility, accessibility to the game, pitches like this make a difference. But, being able to watch the NWSL, the MLS in your own backyard, but also being able to connect with any of the major leagues all over the world, any of the competitions that are happening. You have Women's Champions League, you had Men's Champions League yesterday and today. I remember growing up, I watched, besides the first and the World Cup final, most of the other games I watched on Spanish-speaking networks. And now you have pre- and post-game shows on so many different networks, live streaming. So the game is much more accessible than it was, even 5 years ago.
Up the middle, not a down by Hamm. The return up for Parlo. Leaves it off. Here's Mia Hamm in the box. The shot. Goal. She's got the record.
The USA Mia Hamm has now scored We will have a goal to show you during our halftime highlights.
Here's a look at this unbelievable play. Christine Lilly's developing the ball here. Look how hard Mia Hamm works to get into the box here, and she hits a great ball, and it's a nutmeg. Goes through Dee Dee's legs.
I just got off doing a sports jam with Telemundo Deportes' crew, but looking ahead to the FIFA World Cup for the women, and that takes place in Australia and New Zealand starting in July. The U.S. is still the favorite, going for a three-peat, but everybody seems to be closing that gap a little bit. What do you think is going to happen in this World Cup?
I think it's, first of all, the fact that the gap is closing is exciting. That means more confederations, more member associations are investing in their women's programs. It means that money is getting where it needs to be and needs to go. But I think you have a handful of teams that can win this thing. And you know, from Spain to England, you know, you have to put Brazil in there. Australia just had an amazing result against England. The US, obviously, Germany. You know, it's going to be a hard fought tournament. And what you see going into it is making sure teams are played in, but also healthy. You know, I just read on the way here, Leah Williamson went down with a knock in her league game. So I'm hoping it's nothing major, that she's able to bounce back. She's the captain for England. She's kind of their heart and soul leader. So I'm hoping the best. Obviously, with the US losing Mallory Swanson, it was difficult to watch because you just see her growth and development as a player, and she was playing the best soccer of any player on the women's national team right now. But that's a challenge for this group of players and for Vlatko to kind of step up and make the adjustments. And, you know, tournaments like this is where your careers can come to life. And I'm excited about the potential. It's a really, for the U.S. team, a wonderful mix of veteran players and kind of this youthful enthusiasm.
Well, you know what it's like to win the World Cup. You did it twice. So when you think about all the success that you've had in World Cup action, is there one moment that you can think about the most that brings the biggest smile to Mia Hamm's face?
Oh, man. I think winning was unbelievable. But, you know, going to that first game in '99, because all of us, every single person involved, you know, the players, the staff, the World Cup organizing committee. I mean, it was like a 16th, 18-month process of committing ourselves to selling the tournament. And 12 months out, we went to every single city and we talked about it. We were shaking hands, kissing babies, trying to get people excited about the tournament. And then to pull in, as we're going down the Jersey Turnpike, to pull into the stadium and see thousands of kids and families, you know, wearing our kits and tailgating, and then walking in and being told it's a sold out, you know, stadium for the first match. And it's, as someone that grew up watching men's World Cups, to see the women's game elevated to that level, you know, brought tears to all of our eyes as we were trying to kind of focus and get ready to play.
Is there a player, and doesn't have to be on the U.S. team, is there a player out there that reminds you of yourself right now?
Oh, they're all so much better. So
you think so?
Yeah, well, I think the game has evolved. I think if I played now, I would have evolved too with it. You know, I look at Mal, and I think we have a lot of similarities. We can take on, but we can also get behind defenses. You know, she's gotten so sophisticated with her runs and even her flank service. I know for me, that's something I took great pride in. Wasn't just scoring goals, but was creating opportunities. And, you know, analyzing what the defense was giving you and making adjustments on the fly in terms of what your matchup was 1v1, but also how they were playing your team as a whole. And so, you know, we're also kind of the same size. I mean, and it's one of the things I love about the game of soccer is any size, speed, height, you can have an impact for your team.
The world always likes when there is a power couple, and you've been part of a power couple for many, many years. You and Omar Garcia Parra, but your kids, you have 3 kids and you have twins, one daughter. So how do you do all this, Mia? How do you get involved in all these foundations and find the time? It's got to be a working relationship with the entire family.
Yeah, I mean, to be a part of something like this today is important to me, and I think Nomar and my family know that. I'm grateful. Like, the Dodgers had an early game today, so he's just finishing up, but my brother's local, so he stepped up and helped and kind of was doing some of the carpool. And it does really take a village, but like I said, this is too important to pass up, to be able to kind of share my love of the game and with these young people out here today. And obviously what Lays and UEFA Foundation are doing is going to make a huge impact for this community.
So let's say there's another field that opens up in any part of the world, and you get a chance to take just 3 people, but no family members, and the people do not have to still be with us. Who are you taking on this car ride to this new Lays replay field?
I can't take Nomar because he knows everything about wine. So that would be.
You can't take Nomar on this trip. He's got to stay behind.
But I can phone him. So if I'm looking at a menu.
Yes, you can phone
him.
Him.
That's a great question. I'd probably say Julie Foudy, because she makes me laugh so much. Yeah, man, there's so many teammates I would just take because they're just so much fun. Christine, Carla, they're just adventurous and, but also can kind of sit and chill and just chat. So that for me is like, I'm not go all the time. I kind of like to sit and take in the view and connect. So
one last question here on SportsJam, because I know you're busy and you got to run, but let's face it, the girls that are playing soccer, the boys that are playing soccer, when they hear, wow, Mia Hamm's at our event, what do you want to say to those young kids that want to be the next soccer star, either from the U.S. or another country?
Yeah, I think it's important, for so many reasons to do events like this. But one is to let them know that we're more alike than we are different. I grew up in a family of 6 kids. My dad was career military. I had to pay half of everything I had, like my boots and soccer balls. And, but I had a passion for the game. I had a passion for sports. So I figured it out, but it's about seeing value in yourself and investing in that. And then, making sure the people around you are positive life forces for you. They're not always going to tell you what you want to hear, but their commitment to you as a person is more important than what you could accomplish. They're committed to you. And so, it's really about just sharing time with them and letting them know that we were all young and vulnerable at one time. And, for me, I found so much confidence through the beautiful game.
And that beautiful game continues because of people like you, Mia Hamm, and those young girls are aspiring to be great on the pitch so they can have a career like yours. Thanks so much for spending some time with us today. Congratulations on the Lays replay and all the work you do, even your own foundation created in 1999, nonprofit that seeks to promote awareness and raise funds for families in need of a bone marrow or cord blood transplant. And you've dedicated your development of more opportunities for young women to participate in sports. You do it all. And thanks so much for being here.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
SportsJam is a WBGO Studios production. You can check out all the past shows by going to wbgo.org/sportsjam or wbgo.org/studios. You can also find Sports Jam with Doug Doyle on the NPR listed podcast or wherever you hear podcasts. Special thanks going out to Mark Carine of Soccer Ventures and the wonderful Joe Favorito for helping us hook up with Mia Hamm at the Lays Replay Initiative in Santa Ana, California. Until our next Sports Jam session, I'll see you at the game.